Hey guys, Pete here. So today I wanted to show you a simple layer 2 VLAN lab on Juniper QFXs within EVE-NG. So as you can see here, we got two switches, switch 1, switch 2, and two PCs, PC1 and PC2. These are just simple EVE VPCs. So the switches are connected to each other on XE000. XE stands for 10 gig interface. And XE001 on each switch goes to a PC. Let's start by configuring the PC client here with an IP here. Then let's see, can we ping ourselves? Yes, we can. Then we'll do PC2 here. Alright, can I ping myself? Yes, I can. Alright, so in order to make PC1 and PC2 able to talk to each other, we need to configure a VLAN across the switches. So what we're going to do is we're going to make XE001 an access port on both switches and XE000 a trunk. Now we only have one VLAN on the switches, but it's common practice to have a trunk between them if we're planning to pass, multiple VLANs. So I'm gonna show you the most, let's say, Cisco-like way of configuring this, and then in another future video I'll show you some more Juniper-specific ways that we can configure these things. Alright, so here are the two switches. If we look at show interface XE001, which is the interface to PC1, we can see it's up. Show configuration interface XE001, and you can see here there is nothing. So what I usually do when I set up new QFXs in EVE is that I delete all the interfaces and only leave the EM1 interface, which is the interface connecting to the packet forwarding engine, PFE here, you see. That one needs to be there. You can delete everything else, but that connection needs to be there, otherwise the interfaces will not show up. So if we look here, we're going to start with creating a VLAN. Set VLANs, VLAN 10, VLAN ID 10. Now, in Juniper, there is a concept called Stanzas, and that means things that belong to each other or that belong to another, let's say, part of the configuration are indented below that configuration. So for example, if we do show VLANs, right, then you can see here we have VLAN 10 under VLANs. In the VLAN section we have VLAN 10, and under VLAN 10 we have the ID, so the tag. If we do it like this, that we do show here directly, then you'll see all this other config here, which might be a bit confusing, but we'll get into all these things in future videos and labs and whatever else you want me to cover. Just let me know in the comments. So you can see here we are at the what's called the top of the configuration, see, which means that we are kind of now standing at the top of the config, looking down at the rest. So when you do show from here, then you'll see the whole configuration. Now, a best practice, I think, is that if you want to work within a specific section, you'd like to go into that section and then do your stuff there. We're going to try this under the interfaces. So for example, as I showed you earlier, in the interfaces section, there's only one interface configured currently. Because you can either, show the specific stanza by doing show interfaces, or you'll do show at the top of the config, then you'll see, the whole configuration. So if we now place our, instead of typing, let's say we want to configure the interface to PC1, you could do it like this. Set interfaces XE001 unit 1 family Ethernet switching, VLAN, family Ethernet switching, VLAN members, and then VLAN 10, for example. This is, the Cisco way of doing it, I suppose. Oh, well, not really, because you have to also get into the interface config. But anyway, so this is one way you can do it as a one-liner. It's really long and it's prone to mistakes, especially, if you have to configure a lot of things. So the best practice is to get into the interface itself. So you'll go to interface x001. Now you can see this prompt here changes to edit interface x001. Instead of earlier, it was edit when we were at the top of the configuration. Now it actually goes inside x001. Now, what we can do from here, if we do show, it will show us everything that's configured for this interface. Obviously, there is nothing yet. So we're going to do set unit 0, family Ethernet switching. We can just do that for now, and then when I type show, you'll see we have unit 0, and under unit 0, we have this statement. Now these units, they're called logical units, and basically they could be seen as sub-interfaces. And you always need to have a unit 0 for every interface that you configure. There are statements that you will do, outside of the units that affect the whole physical interface. But in order to do any meaningful configuration, you have to have a unit. There are also ways that you can have multiple units on interfaces, but for now, let's keep it simple and say that you need always to have unit 0 configured. Alright, so what we've done here is we've told the interface, hey XE001, you are now in a layer 2 switching interface. L2 interface basically. You will not be able to configure any layer 3 information, IP addresses, whatever on this interface now. Alright, so if we continue, unit 0, family Ethernet switching, and then we want to go into VLANs, and we'll put members VLAN 10 that we created earlier, right? So if we do show now, you can see here that under the Ethernet configuration, layer 2 config, we have now a VLAN section, and within that VLAN section, we have VLAN members. And the VLAN with the name VLAN 10 is now a member. This basically means that it's an access port with VLAN 10 on it. If we would try now to put another VLAN here, it will complain that say that access ports can only have one VLAN configured. Now I'll show you. You can also do family Ethernet switching interface mode access. That doesn't do anything. So this is maybe just an easy way to quickly show someone that it's an access port, but it's not necessary to have this. But we can include it now just to show you guys the difference between when we do the trunk later. So let's go up one step, and now we are within the interfaces stanza here. So when we do show here, we can see both interfaces that we have, EM1 and XE001. Now we want to do the trunk interface, right? See, now I did it as a one-liner just to show you the difference, right? So if we do show from here, you can see 001 is here. Now, but I want you guys to get used to always going into the specific interfaces and the sections that you want to work on. It's very important to get used to this. It might sound a bit weird compared to if you come from a Cisco background, but I promise you, once you get used to it, and you force yourself to start thinking in these individual sections, or stanzas, as Juniper calls them, it's gonna make navigating around the configuration much easier. It's so nice, I promise you. Just stick with it, right? Alright, so for example here, you can see that I went into the 000 interface that we made in the trunk earlier. So you can even go deeper, I can say, okay, I want to put myself inside the unit only, if you have a big interface with a lot of units, it might be confusing, you know that you're going to do some work inside unit 0, alright, you'll better put yourself there. Now this is the only configuration within unit 0. So we only have to do family Ethernet switching, VLAN members, VLAN 10 here. Alright, so what this is gonna do, we can go to the top of the configuration again. We'll commit check to make sure that all the commands are good. So basically what that check does, it checks that the commands are good, that they make sense, that they are compatible with each other. It will not tell you that, you know, if you're gonna kill your own management or access to the device or something like that. That's something you have to know yourself, right? We can do a show compare. This one will show all the commands that are going to be committed once we commit. So you can see here we added, you know, 2 interfaces, we added the VLAN, simple stuff, alright? So from here we can just, you know, confidently commit. Commit and quit. Does a commit, then it exits you out of config mode. So you don't have to do that. I like to do it, you know, it saves a bit of time. So we're gonna do the same thing here. It's not really necessary, right? I could just copy paste it from the previous box, but I think it might be nice to show you guys anyway. Alright. Zero, zero, zero. Unit 0, family Ethernet switching, enter interface mode trunk. Switching, VLAN members, VLAN 10. Set interface XE001, unit 0, family Ethernet switching. And you see, in this one, I will not use the interface mode access command, just to show you. Show conf interface access 001. You see here we got the access mode here, and just to show you, if I could just spell correctly, you know. It seems the more I work with this stuff, the less often I type things correctly these days. Alright, so let's have a look here. If we go into interface access, you see here, we don't have the access interface mode access command here. So, interestingly enough then, let's see if something works. Let's ping PC2 from PC1. Oh, look at that. Hey, it works. Let's try the reverse. Hey, look, it works too. Hey, that's awesome. Okay guys, if there is anything else you want me to cover, you know, as far as Juniper networking goes, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to do that. If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, guys.